Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
So what do you think? What is a Docker?
It's a tool to create the containers which actually is a separate deployment environment, like having provide shared libraries and with containers.
Yeah. So that's a good definition. So let me write it. When I put it up, it's a platform. It's a platform. Now for what? For managing container. Managing container. That is very good. Okay. I'll come back more about what is Docker little bit later. But I got a question here. What is container? This is important, right? Because this is important question. Because we have come here to learn this thing only. What is container? So anyone would like to add something here? What do you think about the container? What do you think about the
An image of the Docker,
image of Docker?
an executable of the Docker.
No.
It's an executable package of software
No.
libraries.
No. Something else?
It might be a server container like web container.
But what is container? That's the question, right? That's the question. Web I understand, server I understand, but I have no idea about what is container.
Which has a required libraries package and request.
But if you see that, if I go by that definition, then if I create one ISO image, that also has a required libraries, right? Let's say VM's image you create Ubuntu, CentOS, you might be creating hundreds of times. IAM image on AWS. So these may be having the required libraries to run the application, right? So what is container?
It is something which virtualizes the OS.
Virtualization of OS. So we had a virtualization technology from last 20 years, I believe. Don't you think so? So why do we need a new technology again? What is a virtualization here? Remember virtualizations?
But VMs.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So in the VMs, the same thing I was talking about. The VMs you have operating system. So what do you think? Containers also have operating system.
But VMs don't virtualize the OS, right? They have to have their own OS, even though they are running on a physical environment. They need to have their own OS, unlike containers.
Yeah, something closer you are. Yeah, but still I'm not able to understand what is container. Anyone else would like to give me the definition for this?
The developers don't need to worry on the running environment.
That's the business benefit. So that's the benefit part. But here,
Lightweight process.
Container maybe a
Lightweight process.
where you can deploy your application.
yeah. So I have one thing to say here. Murli, there's lots of noise which is getting created from you. So please check that. Okay. Yes, sir. Sorry guys, I think there was some huge noise from my neighborhood, so I had to stop them. Okay, sorry about this. So now, yeah, someone was saying what is a container, so please tell me.
Yeah, I was trying to explain that it is like a virtual machine where you could host your application and deploy it.
Still, we have a virtual. If it is a virtual machine, then why we need a container? Let's call it virtual machine only, right? Don't you think so?
Yeah, but maybe because you can replicate it. Like you have multiple virtual machines you can run on.
But we
And it has
have Vagrant for that, no? Managing the multiple virtual machines. We have Vagrant, vSphere, VMware, so sort of things, which can replicate this feature. I mean VM. Okay. So yes, the good points actually all of you have added. So what is container? So if you really want to understand what is container, then little bit of you have to go a little bit of things in the past. So the question we should ask before understanding the container, what is container? How we run applications and where we run applications. Okay. Okay. How we run application, where we run application. So now let's say in 1990s, okay, and let's talk about 2000, and now let's talk about the 2020. Okay, something like this. So I think some of you might be using the laptop computers in 1990s also, right? So what do you think? In 1990s, how we were using the computer? I mean, running the application. Tell me how we were running the applications. Where we were running that?
There are probably standalone applications installed in the machine itself.
Yeah, desktop, correct? No? So physical machines, I'll call it, not desktop, I'll call physical machine, so that way you get it. So we were running the applications on a physical machine. Now what has happened? Let's understand this. We got the internet. Understand this flow? So here we got the internet. So when we got the internet, and here if you remember, let me put it up more better way. So here consumers were paying for the software. So if you remember that in the world of so consumer were paying for the software. For example, here if you remember, physical machines we were using at that time, 1990, and consumers were paying upfront any software. Okay, any software. Paying upfront, this is a very important point. For example, MS Office, you want to use it, you have to pay for the CDs. So how we used to do the delivery? So we used to do the delivery through the CDs. You know that still we use sometimes, right? CDs. So the release cycle used to be how much time? So they were using physical machine to run the software runtime. You can call it platform. Okay, understand this. Platform, physical machines, and consumers were paying upfront that software, and then delivery were in form of CDs. And what was the release cycle?
Months or years?
Years, right? You know that, right? MS Office once in a year, Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop once in a year. Any software which is, at that time I used to use it, Flash, this also Acrobat, Tally also, many people use the Tally library, and many other software. So at 1990s, let's say antivirus, not an antivirus, or any software like operating system also. So they were using the physical machine, and then they were running in the physical machine, paying upfront, delivering the CD, release cycle 1 year. So now the model, what was the software model which was popular at that time? I'm putting up in the in a short manner, so please understand it. Software model, development
Waterfall.
Yes, waterfall model which we have. And here, now, what was the software development architecture? Tell me, what is the software development architecture? Anyone remember? Monolithic, right? Monolithic. So here, see that how we were doing in 1990s, okay? And suddenly, what has happened? This is the kind of pattern, but suddenly we got the internet. Okay, this has changed our life a lot. So now, think about it. When we got the internet, many things got changed. Now, we started using internet-based applications. So here, earlier the applications were desktop-based, means standalone. Okay, and then with the internet, we got the application shared. When I say shared, that means, think in this way. Let's say in 2000 time, which are the applications you have used? Yahoo, MSN, Rediff you might have used a lot. Yahoo, Rediff. What else? Rediff Mail, Hotmail, right? Orkut we have used a lot also, right? So these were the applications we started using it. So now think about it. The applications become a shared, and they were not running. And here, understand this: for running the applications, how many server required? How many server? So here in this standalone, you required only one server because you are the owner, right? You are the owner. You are going to run for here. But when application, because of the internet, it becomes a shared, then how many machines you require to run? Yahoo used to run Yahoo used to run, Hotmail used to run. So how many machines they required? Can they run one machine? The applications? No. So they need many. Yes, that is many. So now they are not running application in one box. We were running application in 1990s one box. But now because of the internet, we got many machines. That means Yahoo were running the many machines. Orkut were running the many machines. Google search were running on the many machines. Rediff were running on the many machines. But here see that paying upfront, very important points actually. Paying upfront, no payment. Okay. So here we were paying, Microsoft were charging, we were paying happily. Okay. How much, whatever they will ask, Microsoft and Photoshop, Adobe, we will pay to them. But now we don't want to pay. In the internet world, we don't want to pay for it. And that is the question, that's the problem for all innovation. This is a trend for all of our innovation. Because in the internet world of the internet, we don't want to pay money. So how this organization will make money? So they will make money through ads. Think about it. Through showing the ads or premium services. How many of these people are buying the premium services? Very few. Understand this. CPC rate for the ads is, let's say 1,000 people. 1,000 people is your visiting your website. Think simple logic. 1,000 people are visiting your website. Out of only one person is clicking on ads. That means CPC rate is 1,000 per click. That means in a simple way, if I look at this, you have to run server for 1,000 people. You have to run application for 1,000 people, but only one is your customer. That means 999 is your free customer. So now, when there is no payment, then organization started thinking about, can we do one thing? Can we reduce the software running cost? Because we are running this application for 1,000 of machines, and you may be having hundreds of machines for thousands of people, but real user, real client is only one. So can we do one thing? Is there any technology which can help us to reduce the running cost? Then that is where physical machine to something else come up, and what is that called? What is that called?
Virtual machine.
Virtual. Yeah, virtual machine. We call it virtual machines. Now, virtual machines is powered by many hypervisor tools such as VMware, VirtualBox, Zen, KVM, Hyper-V. So many technologies you have worked with it already. It's pretty old. It's been 20 years in the market. So I don't think so I should tell you what is a VM. But you know that, right? So now here, what we were having? Virtual machines. Now delivery were not in form of CDs. Okay. Now delivery we had in form of patches. Okay. How these patches? Immediate patches. When I say immediate patches, that means see, Yahoo is running. Yahoo got some bugs. Okay. Yahoo got some bugs. So now if I say Yahoo will announce at that time, okay, no problem. There is a bug in the software. We will fix it after 2 months or after 1 year. Will you accept this behavior? No. So here, what has happened? Here we had a release cycle in 1 year once, but here we got the release cycle 2 weeks, 1 week or lesser than that. Okay. We started expecting the bugs very, very faster. Okay, fixes for the bugs very, very faster. That is where we changed the waterfall model to which model? Guys, which model?
Iteration.
What do you call it? Very popular model. I think you know that, but you are just not.
Agile model.
Agile model, right. Agile itself has a multiple. I'm not getting into Agile. That's not my topic. But Agile model. Agile have a multiple practices like what is it? Scrum, Kanban, XP, and all stuff like that. You know that. Now, monolithic to architecture of the software also got changed because of the internet. Now we had everything in one, like MS Office you use in your laptop. From here, we got a service-based oriented architecture, SOA architecture. That's it. So web server, we started calling web server, app server, database server, multiple web server, multiple app server. So architecture also got changed. Okay. Now guys, internet has brought lots of things. So remember earlier we were browsing the internet. Okay. Understand that. But now we are in today's world, we are living on the internet. Yes. Living on the internet. Okay. You unknowingly you are living. I remember when I started using the first time internet, it was a dial-up. That means you have to dial, then it will get connected and you have to pay for that time. Now it's like we have a home internet, we have office internet, we have a mobile internet, we have a community internet in cafes and all. Everywhere is the internet and we all are connected to the devices like a mobile, fridge, washing machine, TV, cameras, and car, anything. Nowadays you see that everything is connected to the internet and we are not using the internet. We are living on the internet. That means your device is connected to the internet, automatically they are consuming the data and then they are running it. They are not asking your permission. That is how you get the SMS, right? WhatsApp message and all the notifications and everything. So basically it's living on the internet. So here we got to run how many servers? Too many servers. Okay. Here we had too many servers. Okay. So now we have in today's world, we have too many servers we need to run the application. Here, no payment still. So now the question is, what we will do to reduce the cost? What we will do? Think about it. So here, see, we innovated a technology from physical machine to virtual machine. And you know virtual machine very well. It's a pretty old technology and you know that. But something has to be done. Something else has to be invented. So what do you think? How can we reduce the cost further? same thing. The objective is how to reduce software running cost further. Okay. Then from here we decided to migrate for something. But what is something? That's the topic here. We'll come back. So now the delivery also, earlier it was in CD, then immediate patches. Now the delivery should be now. That means, for example, now when I say now means release now, immediate. That means, let's say you guys are in Hyderabad or Bangalore. So you must be using Ola and Uber. Just imagine if Ola is an app, you know that it's kind of software, it's running somewhere. Now just imagine if Ola is down for just 5 seconds, only for 5 seconds. What you will do? Tell me. What you will do?
Switch to Uber.
Yeah. Again, second day also morning time, it's down for 5 seconds. So what you will do?
Switch to Uber.
Yeah. And third time, third time, probably you will not come to Ola first time. You, of course, you'll go to the Uber. Right now? So what is the loss for the Ola? You tell us. It's a loss for Ola.
Business.
They have lost the customers, right? So here, one more scenario I'll give it to you. You have shopping on the Flipkart.com, right? So Flipkart.com, you have a one release, see 11 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds. We have millions of catalogs with the different products and different features. Pricings are different. But suddenly with the 1 second difference, millions of products, the pricing gets changed. Whole business logic gets changed. It's a new release altogether. So the today's challenge in the world of internet, today's challenge is how to do the releases now. Immediate release we talk it. Immediate release. You might be heard about this keyword, immediate release, right? So we have to do the immediate release. So what we want to do, there is one objective, how to reduce software running cost further. How to reduce software development cost further. How to reduce release cycle to now. Cycle to now. Okay. That is how to avoid the mismatch of dev QA operation environment. Streamline. I'll put it how to streamline. Okay. So these are the objective now. Okay. These are the objectives. So what we do? Now the release cycle from 1 year to it's become a 1 hour. From waterfall model to Agile, now we've become a DevOps model. Now many of you are working in the DevOps model, so you know that. And monolithic to SOA, we got microservices. So guys, this is the evolutions what we had in today's world. This is the evolutions we had in today's world. Now, the only one question is not answered so far. That is this question. So now we will answer this question. Okay? Any doubts? We're good. Okay. Just give me 2 seconds, guys. I'll just get it. So now the question is, what is container? That is the most important question. What is a container? So guys, understand this. Very simple way to explain. First question, you should tell me how applications run. This anatomy you have to understand. So let's draw a picture. So probably it will be more better way to visualize this stuff. Now see, this is your machine. It can be VM or it can be physical machine. Now you know the physical machine anatomy and VM very well, so I'm not discussing too much of it. And so this is a physical machine or VM. You will have a hardware on below, correct? Hardware. Now on top of that, what you will have? On top of that, what will have? Operating.
OS.
Yeah.
Operating system.
So many people, you say operating. Guys, operating system, what you have? Tell me.
Windows, Linux.
No. Inside of
Services.
No. I'm saying operating system is, of course, it's a Windows and Linux, but inside operating system, what you have?
A set of processes.
No.
Kernel.
Yes.
Kernel.
Remember, we have studied all this in our colleges days. So we have a kernel. Operating system has kernel. Now, anyone has idea about what are the types of kernel we have? Anyone? What are the types of kernel we have?
Unix kernel.
No. Kernel namespaces. So operating system has kernel. What inside a kernel you have? Inside the kernel, what you have? Anyone has idea?
Process.
Something else? Can you help me? Can you help me with? Okay. So probably not a problem. See, we know that operating system has kernel. Now kernel has namespace. Okay. Kernel has namespace. Now there is a different kind of namespaces are there. Let me write it. Okay. One is network namespace. Another one is user namespace. Okay. One is network namespace. Another one is user namespace. Another one is process map namespace. PMAP namespace. And another one is user run mount namespace. Okay. Now, what is the namespace? I will come back in this. But kernel has namespaces. Here namespaces. And then we have C groups also. Okay. C groups. Now, anyone has idea about the C groups? Anyone? No problem. So here, kernel also has the namespaces, C groups and capability. Now let's understand this. Capability. Now let's understand this. What is the user namespace is doing? So here, think about it. This is the namespace. This is the network namespace. This is a user namespace. This is a PMAP namespace.
To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 399 plan and grow your skills immensely.
This is MNT namespace. Okay, I'm writing in a short. Okay. Because of this user namespace, user isolation is created. Now you must be wondering, what is the user isolation? Now, in one machine, you tell me how many users can be created? In one machine,
Many.
Many, correct?
No restriction.
Now, one user, if you are not a root user, normal user, right? So, if you are a normal user, can you log into some other normal user desktop or my documents or my downloads? Can you see that?
Okay. No.
No. So, that is created by user namespace. Okay. So, here, let me tell you what is a namespace basically. Don't take it in a very odd way, but it's just a library. Okay. But we call it namespace. So here, the type of library is user namespace library, which create a user isolation. Now, do you know network namespace, which is in kernel, which initiate your network? Yes, initiate. If this is not there, you will not get a network. Okay. So this initiates network. Now, you got network, initiate a network. Now here, do you know the process map concept? Process map. Process map. Process table. I'm sure you must have worked with the Linux machine or Windows machine. You have seen the process table? See, I'm showing you the
Yes.
So I'm showing you the Windows, okay? See, these are my process. Correct, no? So these are my process in Windows, and if you do Linux cs-ef, that. So every process start with, you know, which process ID? Which is the mother of all process ID?
1.
No, 0. Right? From 0, everything coming from the 0. And 0 to 1 and 1 to many. Correct? So now process map. So this initiate process map. Process map. Okay? This initiate a process map. Now what exactly this is doing? So guys, do you see mouse means, do you see C drive, E drive in Windows? Correct?
Yes.
And in a Linux, you see OpenC, etc, var, user home, this, that and all. Do you see that stuff?
Yes.
Yeah. So that is called mount. So initiate mount. Okay. So basically see that here. I'm talking about how application runs. In a simple way, what are the components needed for application to run? That is I'm talking about. Okay. So the moment you will understand this, you will understand the container automatically. So here, these are the components needs for application to run. For example, namespace. Which are the namespace needed? User, net, tmap and mount. Now C groups, what is exactly doing? Assigning RAM and CPU and RAM. Simple. CPU and RAM to the where? Process. Okay. Managing. And capability, managing access of user space. That means someone is having root access and someone is having non-root access. Who controls it? Non-root access. Who controls it? Capability. Now, kernel has namespace, C group, capability. Namespace, 4 kind of namespace. C groups, managing the CPU allocation and RAM allocation from the hardware to the software, the one which is, and capability. Okay. So in short, I am telling you. Now let's understand the different perspective. Now, do you know what is the PC stand for? PC stand for?
Personal computer?
Yeah. Everyone knows that. Even I know that. Personal computing. But guys, you tell me, what is the meaning of personal here?
Restricted to a single user?
Yes. Restricted to individual, yes. So understand this. When PC concept was designed, okay, this computer was not designed for running the data center. Understand this. Here you see. Earlier we were running on application in one server. That's okay. That is how it is designed. But later when we started running in many servers, too many servers. Okay. So here the compute unit, whatever you guys are using today or you've been using from last 20 years, this was not designed for running application in a data center. Understand that. We are running in the data center, but it was not designed for running in the data center. We are running in the data center, but it's not designed for running in the data center. So what is happening? It was designed for the human being, for the personal computing purpose. So every machine, every individual will have a one PC and they will run application in their own standalone machine, one standalone application. So this is called personal computing. Now look at this, how we were using application. We are not at all using personal computing nowadays, but we are running most of the application in the data center. You know that. Look at the Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, SDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, Flipkart.com, Amazon.com, Yatra, Ola, this, that. You know, you are not running this application in your laptop. You want the MS Office, you get on the cloud itself. Now you know that, where to get it. You want to code, you will get in the cloud. You want to debug, you will get in the cloud. You want to test, you get in the cloud. You want to do the release, you get everything on the cloud. So now we are not running any application more or less in our personal computing because the era has gone. So earlier we had a browser, earlier we had a console, okay. Now then we have a browsers, and now we have a devices, correct? Now we access the internet through the devices like mobile devices or different devices. Devices has inbuilt everything. So this is the transition. The important question was still what is container. So now understand this here. If you want to run applications, what happens? This is the hardware layer. Again, I'm drawing the same picture. And then top of that kernel, I'll keep it outside kernel. And this is a network mount, process map, and network mount user. So now let's say what happens. How many networks you get assigned to a machine? How many networks?
One.
Wonderful. How many mount you see in one operating system?
A few handful.
Multiple.
Mount. I say in a simple way I put it up. How many C drive you can see in one operating system? How many C drive?
One C drive.
Yeah. So one mount, right? Yeah. How many process map you see that?
One. Everything is based off of 0.
Yeah. So how many process map you have?
One.
And this one. But how many users you can create?
One root and many non-root.
Yeah. I mean, root also you can, more access also you can give it to the administrator. That means multiple admin access you can give it, user to, that's okay. But how many users you can create? How many users you can create? Right.
Many.
So see here, you only said everything. 1, 1, 1. So here I will write it for your documentation purpose. How many namespace, user namespace created, network namespaces? 1. How many process maps? 1. How many network namespace? 1. Okay. Now how many users namespaces? Multiple. So what happens? Why multiple? Because here I created, this is a Raju, this is a Ramu, no, Karan, let's make it Raju, Karan and Shankar. Okay. 3 users you created. Now let's say Raju wants to run applications. Okay. Raju wants to run applications. Apache. Think about only Apache. 3 Apache he wants to run. 1 Apache, 2 Apache. Karan also wants to run. Shankar also wants to run 3 Apache. So here Apache he will run. Correct now? And now let's say Apache has 80 port. By default you know that. And is writing the PID 50. Okay. And he is writing the file in C Apache. Okay. C Apache. Now you tell me, Karan if he is running the Apache, will he be able to run the Apache on 80 port?
No. No.
Why?
It's already used. It's occupied.
Why? Why it's already used?
Because we only have one network.
Yeah, we have only one network. See here, one network, one port, one application. Very simple flow. One network, one port, one flow. So yes, he will not be able to run 80 port. Now 50. He will get the same PID number even though if he change the port.
No.
So he will get
No.
not the
No.
same port. And if he is writing the file C Apache, then there will be data integrity issue. Don't you think so?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So same thing with the Shankar also. Now see here. Let me tell you one more image. I'll come back to this image a little bit in some time. Look at the drawbacks of virtual machine. Drawbacks of virtual machine. Here I'm initiating one more topic. I'm jumping here and there because I want to correlate everything in one go. So drawbacks of VMs. Okay. So look at this here. Now here you have a hardware layer. Okay. And this is your operating system. And this is your hypervisor like a VMware. Okay. Operating system have a kernel. Now you create a VM. 1 VM, 2 VM, 3 VM. Now don't think about running a simple one application. Think about running hundreds of applications. Okay. So now you think about it. So in the VM you have a operating system. Each VM, right? You only said before this during the discussion. Correct now? Correct. You have operating system.
Yes.
Now you have only one user you will create it, not too many users. See here. Here I created multiple users. Why? Because I want to create. But in the data center, you will not create those so many users. You will have 1 user, 2 user or something like that. So let's say there is 1 user which I created, Apache, and is running Apache. See here, Apache. Now here only 1 user you created, running Apache. Here also 1 user. Now here because of you see, here you got an operating system. Think about it. You got a 1 network, 1 mount, 1 process map, and 1 mount network process map and
User.
User. 1 user. Yeah. So 4 things you get it here because of operating system. Now it's become unique, right? Unique. So you are able to run. Now here this is a VM model which you are using from last 20 years. Tell me one thing. Because we want to do what? We want to reduce the software running cost. So you become an architect. Okay. Now let's relate everything. I taught you how application run. So application to run, understand that very clearly I am saying, application to run, you need one user space, one network, one process map, one mount, C group assignment capabilities. Okay. Now, tell me. So what you can do with this virtualization model, so you can reduce the cost of software further down. How to reduce the software running cost further? This question mark which is still holding. So tell me what to do. What is the waste? First you find it out. What is the waste?
RAM. Creating users for the application.
Think something else also.
Having multiple OS there.
Yeah. Yes. See how much waste you are doing. See how many applications in this picture, how many applications you want to run? 3. What you want these applications to behave separate, not this means 80 port, 80 port, 80 port. C Apache, C Apache, C Apache. 50 PID, 50 PID, 50 PID. You want all this 3 applications to have it. So for that what you do? You have operating system, separate operating system. But you forgot, you have this is a very heavy. Hypervisor is also heavy. This operating system, this operating system, this operating system also heavy. Let's understand this way. When I say heavy, that means here in order to run 3 applications, you are running 4 operating systems, 1 hypervisor. That is a waste. In order to run 3 applications, you need 4 operating system and 1 hypervisor. And if you look at the combination of how much you spend the RAM and CPU and all stuff like that, it's a huge, more than application. Your CPU and RAM and storage is being wasted in the operating system and hypervisor. Are you able to visualize the problem in the virtualization?
Yes.
No. Now, can we do one thing? Can we do one thing? Can we not have a multiple operating system? So I'll draw a picture one more time. Hardware layer, operating system, and on top of that, because here your operating system, you have mount namespace, network namespace, process map namespace, mount, network, process map, and one more thing. What is that? Mount, network, process map, and user. Right? So this mount will create one mount. This network, I'll just draw a little bit smaller. This mount will create a one mount. This mount will create a network. This mount will create a PMAP. Okay. Now you see that here I created a one account user, which I created here, one account, and second account. Can you do one thing? Here you see that how many operating system you have? 1. And let's have a three application, because I am having discussion of 3 applications. Okay. Now see here, this user. You only said, I am not teaching you, you are teaching me. So you said 80 ports cannot be used here. See here, 80 ports cannot be used here, and here. Correct? Why? What is the reason for it? Because there is only one network, one mount, one process map. So is there any way what we can do? See here, users can be, also I said one more thing, these namespace, where is the namespace? Here. So these namespace is nothing but a library actually. It's like a kind of package which can you instantiate multiple times. But what happened? Can we do one thing? Just like the user namespace got duplicated 3 times, can we duplicate mount also? So here we will have one mount. Let me change the color. So each user now, instead of user referring this mount, this network, this process map, each user will have their own mount, own process map, and mount, process map, and network. Think about it. Mount, network, process map. Mount, network, process map. So guys, understand this. So in that case, you tell me, if this user has got their own mount, their own process map, their own network. So can I run Apache on 80 port now here and here and here? Can I?
Yes.
Can I run a PID 50 here, 50 here, here, C Apache here, C Apache here, C Apache here? Yes. But there is a problem. There is a problem. Operating system companies says, like a Microsoft and Linux says, I will not do that. I will not do that because these guys are saying we develop operating system not for the running the data center. Understand that. The architecture of operating system is for the human being, PC, personal computing, not for running a multiple application in isolated environment. I will not do that. Okay. Then who will do that? Then there is a one guy who said, Solomon Hike. He said, okay, you will not do that. I understand that because you are operating system companies. Okay, you are developing operating system for the human being, but we want to run multiple application. Why? Because we want to run application for running the application for the data center in the data center. So the cost can be reduced further. So now in between there is a one thing has come somewhere here. Let me put it up in this. This is called Docker. So operating system will not do that, but Docker will do that. Docker talk to the kernel again. Understand that? Okay. So here I said, look at this here. I said, what is a Docker? What is a Docker? It's a platform for what? Managing containers. So now the question is still remains same. What is a container? So guys, the answer is, what is container? This is container. This is container. This is container. Yes. Understand this in simple way. You are also container. If I see the definition, you are also container. I am also container. See, Rajesh is logged in, right? Rajesh is logged in. Log out option, Rajesh is logged in. So I am also container. You are also container. But we are managed by operating system. Okay? And we all, let's say 5 people logged into this machine. So 5 people will have a one CPU, one mount, one user space, and one network. But these users, these containers are special containers managed by Docker. And Docker assign each container their own mount, their own mapping, process map, own network. Because of this, user started feeling, okay, I am independent from everything. That means there is no shared thing. If all of you log into this machine, my machine, you all will share C drive and D drive. But if Docker will create that container, then that user will get their own mount, process map and network. From where they will take it up? Again from the kernel namespace. Okay. So basically these libraries can be initialized and used for each container, each user. That's a container. Are you able to understand this now?
But I have a question here. Like when this mount network system managed by the operating system, so how at a single particular point of time it can be used by multiple containers?
So there is not, okay, to answer these questions, I will tell you. When I say mount, this is a library. Okay, before that, answering that question, do you know the concept of class and object?
Okay, yes.
Something like this. I'm just not giving you 100% correct answer, but helping you to visualize. See, So there's a class student, Harini is a student. There's a class called student, Harini is a object, John is a object, Maria is a object. Correct, na?
Yes.
So here, this is a library. Mount is a library. Network is a library. Process map is a library, which you call it a namespace. This library, just like a user namespace can be, see how this user space can be created multiple times. In one operating system, you can create a multiple users. You only responded. Where is that? Here it is. So same way, if user can be initiated multiple times, can't we initiate mount, a network, process map and mount? Can't we? Yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do that. So, but the question is, who will do that? So, operating system company is saying, no, we will not do that because our domain will change. Then Solomon Hykes said, I will develop a tool which will do that stuff. So they will use your capability only. They will not override anything. Docker is a tool, platform, which will use the kernel capabilities only. But those special user which is created by Docker will be managed by Docker. That means assigning the multiple mounts, process map, network and user space will be taken care by the Docker, not by the operating system. Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
So it's like that. So now the question is, what is container? So hopefully now you understood. Container is a user space with their own network, mount and process map. Okay, powered by Docker with the help of kernel. Kernel has namespaces, C groups and capabilities which is used by Docker to manage a runtime environment for containers. In short, each container is independent application runtime environment, sometimes also called lightweight virtual machines, but it's not virtual machine because virtual machine is operating system. You hard code this system. There is no operating system than one. But here in the virtualization concept, you have so many operating systems, 1, 2, 3. So guys, did you understand that what is a container?
Yes.
Okay. So guys, this is a container. Actually, you are also container to go. I am also container. But we are not managed by Docker. So any container, user space with their own. Yeah. Any containers which is managed by Docker, each container get their own mount, own network, own process map. But we are the kind of container which is managed by operating system. And we get only one, we share that mount on that particular operating system with others. That means you also see the same C drive, I also see the same C drive. You also see the same network, I also see the same network. You also see the same process map, I also see the same process map. That means it is shared. That is also being shared. So now the question is, how we are evolving? So here, we don't need any operating system anymore. So we are physical machine we were running, then virtual machine, and then now we are running. So now the question is, what is Docker? Yes, it is a platform managing containers developed by Solomon Hykes. Okay, Solomon Hykes. Now, releases. In terms of releases, there is a community release. Okay, there is an enterprise release. Enterprise release. Now, here, enterprise release is paid, by the way, part of the Docker. Okay, This is free. Okay, written in Go, and this is all about this Docker. So guys, did you understand what is a Docker and what is a container? Any questions, any doubts?
Good.
Okay, so remember again, please, each container is not a virtual machine, because virtual machine has operating system. You see here, there is no virtual machine. So if I redraw the picture, last time I'm redrawing the picture, actually what is happening, this is the hardware layer, this is the operating system layer, and operating system, I have already explained what are the components we have it, so please hard code all this stuff. And then on that, this is the one, let me change the color, this is the one in network, one process map, one user. This all three managed by operating system. On top of that, there is one tool called Docker Engine. Okay, Docker Engine. Now Docker Engine, so let me install the Docker Engine here, and Docker Engine manage the user space separate. Okay, and each user space they assign one mount, one network, one processor, one mount, one network, one processor, like that. Now, so this is managed by Docker, and Docker take the capability from the operating system. Okay, I'm not deep diving into that, but yeah, Docker take the capability from operating system. Now, if operating system create a user, let's say Rajesh, Rakesh, or whatever it is, they will manage same. They will share the. This is also user. This is also user. This is also user. But this guy is managed by based on the shared resources and managed by operating system. But this container is managed by. Are you understanding now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I hope now it's clear. Now next topic we'll get into the installation and demo sort of it.
Please enroll our general membership for $399 plan to get access of all the parts.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely.
Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest.
Thanks for watching.